Alright, welcome back to Pokepedia, entry number 12, Nidoran. Remember to like if you like, and subscribe down below for more videos. Alright, so the schedule is always look at the basics and stats of Nidoran, battling and killing Nidoran and its evolutions, leveling a Nidoran and evolving it into a Nidorino, Nidorina, Nidoking, and Nidoqueen. Also looking at tips and tricks for all evolutions, and also including biome spawns. Let's get into it. So Nidoran is a special Pokemon. Its phenotype is based on its gender or its sex. It has a male and female variant. The female variant is blue. The male variant is pink. Nidoran male variant is number 29 on the Pokédex, and the female variant. No, the female variant is number 29, that's the blue one, and then the purple one is the male variant, and it's number 32. They swapped the colors of what the genders look like, which is going to make this a little bit of confusing, but this is your female, this is your male. So, Nidoran is evolution basic, type is poison, phenotype is poison rat, height is 1 foot, 0.8 inches, and it has a weight of 19.8 pounds. It is a consumer. Its role is consumer, and type is herbivore. Since it is a rat, it only eats plants like seeds, cheese, and berries. So it is a herbivore. So of course, the stat block of a Nidoran based on the Pokédex is its base stats, and of course it varies. So the female version has HP score of 4, attack score of 3, defense score of 4, and then everything else is the same. Speed, special attack, and special defense are all 3. For the male variant, the HP score is 3, attack score is 4, defense score is 3, and the speed, special attack, and special defense have not changed from 3. Of course, as you know, we're making a survival game, not a just basic Pokemon game, so you need more advanced stats than just an HP of score of 3. So of course, the male Nidoran has a health of 30, while the female is 40. Both have a stamina of 300, food of 300, and speed of 15 miles per hour, but the male has an attack of 40 instead of the female having an attack of 30. The male has a defense of 0 to 15%, while the female has a defense of 0 to 20%. The male has a special attack of 75, and the female has a special attack of 60, and both have a special defense of 0 to 30%. So you can see how this is kind of weird. It's kind of a weird Pokemon, where the male and female stats are different, because they're both considered to be different types of Pokemon, but they're the same Pokemon, just different gender. So of course, the battling and killing process gets a little complicated because there are two sets of evolutions. A Nidoran male will evolve into a Nidorino and then a Nidoking. However, a Nidoran female will upgrade into a Nidorina and Nidoqueen, meaning that there are two separate evolution charts depending on the gender or sex of the Nidoran. So of course, if you kill a Nidoran, a male or female, it has the same loot options. So it drops either 1 to 2 pieces of raw meat and 2 black Pokeberries. A Nidorino and a Nidorina both have the same killing options, even though they're separate Pokemon species. So a Nidorino or Nidorina, when killed, will drop either 1 to 3 raw meat, a black Pokeberry, and a moon shard, which has a lower chance of spawning, but still has a chance of being dropped. And then if you kill a Nidoking or a Nidoqueen, you will get some of the following loot options. You'll either get 2 to 5 raw pieces of raw meat, 1 to 2 poison gems, 2 moon shards, and a toxic orb. So of course, even though they're technically separate Pokemons, we're still keeping the loot options similar so that people don't get confused. However, this is where it gets even more this is the complex part. So leveling and evolving. So you earn XP points from 3 different sources. You earned it from winning battles, healing a Pokemon with items, and mating and breeding. We'll get to the mating and breeding because that's complex for this Pokemon, as you can clearly see. But when a Pokemon levels up, their health, attack, stamina, and defense stats all increase, and the XP par increases by a percentage for the next level. So every 3 to 7 levels, a new move is able to be learned, and every 5 levels, the special attack and defense upgrade. So here's where it gets hard. So as you can see, we have the male path and the female path. I know they're labeled both the female path, but I messed up when making this. So the evolution of the female path, as you can see, a level 25 to 40 female Nidoran will upgrade into a Nidorina. A level 50 to 75 Nidorina will evolve into a Nidoqueen. So that is the female path. So we get down here to the male path, disregard this V. We have the level 30 to 50 male Nidoran evolves into a Nidorino. A level 60 to 100 Nidorino will upgrade into a Nidoking. So the first thing I want you to notice is that there are two paths dependent on gender. But then we have the fact that the levels are different. So it's much harder for a male Nidoran to evolve into a Nidorino. That's because Nidorinos and Nidokings have better stats and have more attack than the female path. So we do want to make it a little bit harder to evolve a male Nidoran because it does have better stats than the female one does, at least attack and defense-wise. So of course, when a Pokemon evolves, regardless of if it's a male or female Nidoran, its stats will increase double to all stats except for speed, and new moves are guaranteed to be learned every evolution. Alright, so mating and breeding. So as we said before, you can earn XP points from mating and breeding. So breeding Nidorans. So for mating purposes, you need both a female, the blue, and a male, the purple Nidoran to breed other Nidorans. You need both a Nidorino, which is the evolution of the purple, and a Nidorina, the evolution of the blue, to breed other Nidorinos. And you need both a Nidoqueen level F and a Nidoking M to breed. So you need both the blue and purple pairs of Nidoran evolutions to breed and mate. You can't just have two blues or two purples. You need a blue and a purple. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to breed. You can't just have two blues and make it magically happen. You need a purple and you need a blue. Alright, so tips and tricks for the Nidoran evolutions. Poison Point is the passive used by all Nidoran evolutions. Any contact move used has a 15 to 30% chance of poisoning an opponent, even if it is not a poison type move, essentially making all of your contact moves poison moves, basically because they can have a 15 to 30% chance of poisoning. Now, of course, Hustle, used by Nidoran, Nidorina, and Nidorino, raise their attack damage by 40 to 60%, but at a cost of lowering their base damage by 30 to 15%. So basically, if you don't know what the damage is between attack and base damage, I'll explain it again. So in the earlier series, I talked about how attack damage is not base damage. The base damage is the attack damage on the stat block. So their attack damage is what their moves do. So that will raise their move damage to 40 to 60%. But their base damage is what they deal in the wild. So for example, when an opponent loses a battle, they are dealt the base damage done by the Pokemon that they were trying to win against. So if you're battling a Pokemaster and he loses the battle to you, your Pokemon will deal their base damage attack to him. So what Hustle does is it raises their move attack damage by 40 to 60%, but will lower their base damage by 30 to 15% if you do win the battle. So that is kind of the sacrifice there, but not much of a sacrifice if you're just trying to win. So some tricks that you can see. Rivalry is a ability by all Nidoran evolutions, regardless of male or female as well. Raises the power of attacks by 25 to 50% if used on the same gender opponent. So a male Nidoran uses it on a male Pikachu, they will have a 25 to 50% boost on their power of their attacks. But it will lower the power by 10 to 30% if used on the opposite gender. So you want to use it if your Nidoran is a male and facing off against a male Pikachu, but if it's off against a female Pikachu, don't use the ability Rivalry. So of course, Sheer Force is used by Nidoking and Nidoqueen, the max evolutions of both male and female Nidorans. They can use this ability to boost the power of their secondary effects via poison, paralysis, sleep, burn by 20 to 40%. So basically poison does 20 to 40% more damage than it used to, when it is used or implied by a Nidoking and Nidoqueen. This ability also overrides the aspects of Shell Bell and the recoil of a Life Orb, so it does mean that Sheer Force does override and counteract the self abilities of Shell Bell and the usage of a Life Orb, which is critical. And of course, the last thing we're going to look at is Nidoran spawns. Now, of course, male and female Nidorans spawn in the same areas, so you don't have to worry. They're both very likely to spawn in meadow biomes and cave biomes. So, of course, if you want to find either of them, go to those two biomes and they'll be very likely to spawn in each. However, it gets a little bit more complex when we get into the different evolutions. So, Nidorino is the evolution of a male Nidoran, and it is likely to spawn in meadows, and few will spawn in caves, so more likely to find them in the meadows than the caves. However, this switches when we get to the Nidorina, which is the evolution of a female Nidoran. It switches to be likely in caves, but few in meadows. So if you want the male versions, you go to the meadows, because it's more likely to be found there, but if you want the female variant, more likely to be found in caves. This carries over into the Nidoking spawn. So the Nidoking is rare to find in both meadows and caves. So if you go to either biome, it's rare to find a Nidoking spawn. However, the Nidoqueen is only found in caves. So this carries over to the fact that the Nidorina, which is the female Nidoran evolution, was more likely to be found in caves than meadows. Well, Nidoqueens can only spawn in caves. You can't find them in meadows. You can only find them in caves. Note, a Nidoqueen can be found in a meadows biome on the rare chance that a wild Nidorina evolves. Wild Pokemon can still evolve, but it is very rare. So of course, a Nidoqueen can be found in a meadows biome if you find a wild Nidorina to evolve. So do remember that. Alright, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it was a complex video, but like if you like, dislike if you don't, subscribe if you really like it. Comment down below your thoughts. I know it's a little bit more complex than what we usually do, but you're dealing with a Pokemon that varies based on its gender and sexual quality. Alright, everyone have a blessed day as always, and of course, as always, toodaloo!